Hi, I'm Randall. I hope that you're having a really great day. Today, we're going to talk about simple tense verbs, the past, present, and future. But while the simple tense usually is simple, there is something about them which can be confusing at times. But we will talk about that later. Let's get started. The simple tense is for things that don't change much. In this picture, there are some strange big rocks in a place called Stonehenge. The Stonehenge is very old, and it is made out of rocks. Rocks do not change much over thousands of years. So, we could use the simple tense to describe the earth and how it moves. We could say that the world turns or spins. We don't know when it started to spin or when it will finish. It does it again and again and again. Now, when you're trying to learn something new, sometimes it's helpful to compare things. So, let's compare the simple tense in English with the continuous tense, which is sometimes called the progressive tense. Actions in the continuous tense are like a sand clock. With a sand clock, you turn the clock over and start the time. Then, when the sand runs out, the time is finished and the action is finished. So, actions in the continuous tense are for a limited time, only for the time that you're talking about and that you usually mention. That means that they happen only during a certain time. They have a stop and a start. Now, however, actions in the simple tense are like a normal clock, with hands that go around and around. The time keeps going and going. We don't know when the time started, and we don't know when it will end. It could go on forever. Another way of thinking about it is to compare a photo to a movie. A photo is for one action only that happens at a certain time, and so it usually has a time or date stamp on it. A movie shows something over a longer time, and though it works by showing one picture after another, we see it as a continuous action. Here are some examples about how we could use it. We could use it for facts. The earth is round. We could also use it for usual actions or normal actions. Fish live and swim in this river. We can also use it for repeated actions. I usually drink coffee every day. On the other hand, when we use the continuous tense, which is sometimes called the progressive tense, we focus on a smaller part of time. It is a limited time, only for a time that we talk about, an hour, a day, or maybe a year. What is happening at that time only? Here are some examples which compare the simple tense and the continuous tense. I usually take the bus to work, but today I am walking. This is only for today. Taking the bus to work is something I do every day. Here's another example. I have a test tomorrow. That's a fact. So, today I am studying all day continuously. Here we're using the continuous tense. Now, sometimes we use the simple tense to describe things. When we describe things, we talk about things that stay the same for a long time. We talk about the parts of someone or something that are normal for that person or that thing and are important parts of who or what they are. They are the things that don't change. Let's take as an example this young man, Jorge. We could describe him as young, intelligent, and usually a happy person. So, being happy is normal for him. That doesn't mean that he is happy all of the time, just that he is normally happy. But today is different. Today he is sick, and he's not happy today only. But this is only temporary. Soon he will be happy again because he's normally a happy person. So, we would use the continuous tense if we are talking about today only, a limited time. He is not feeling well today. And he is not feeling happy today. So, we start with the idea that the simple tense is used for things that take place over a long time, or things that stay the same over a long time. Okay, we're going to talk about culture for a while. Noam Chomsky was a famous scientist who studied language. He once said that language is culture. If this is true, we would have to say that, at least when English started, it was closely connected to Western culture. One part of Western culture is that its people love to divide things into separate parts. This even shows up in how we build our houses. Houses in Western cultures have separate rooms for separate activities. There is a room for eating, a room to sit and talk with friends and family, a room for sleeping, and maybe even a room for watching TV. This is not true in a country like Japan. In Japan, rooms are much more flexible. At night, a room could be used for sleeping, but then in the day you can put your sleeping mattress in a closet and use the room for the children to play in, or perhaps for adults to work in. Japanese rooms even have big sliding dividers that can open up to make two rooms into one bigger room. So, it is no surprise that in Western culture and by extension the English language, even time is divided into three separate but large periods of time. Western culture and the English language divides time into three large parts or periods of time: past, present, or future. And English has three verb tenses for these large periods of time: the simple present, the simple past, and the simple future. But now wait, you might be a little confused here. Time isn't always so simple, and real action doesn't always fit into nice, neat little grammar boxes. Some things may have started in the past, but they continue in the present and will continue into the future. For example, the world turns or spins. This started a very long time ago in the past, and we don't even know when it started. It is spinning now, and it will continue to spin. At least, I hope so. So, in fact, the simple present tense actually overlaps or shares time with the simple past and the simple future. This means that what happens in the present may have started in the past and may continue into the future. Now, in English, the simple past and the simple future are simple. If something happened in the past and is finished now, or is not true now, we use the simple past. If something will be true in the future, but it is not true yet or is not happening yet, we use the simple future. It's the simple present where we put all of the messy things that happen now or are true now but might have started in the past and may continue into the future. So, how can we understand the simple tense? Well, first of all, we might mention that when something happens but the exact time is not usually important, we use the simple tense. And usually we don't even talk about the time. We do know the general time from the verb tense. It can be the simple past, simple present, or simple future. Well, it is helpful to remember that the simple tenses, past, present, and future, are for things that stay the same for a long time, for general time. They are not for a limited time like a sand clock. They are for things that don't change much, the things that normally happen any time or anywhere. There are three kinds of actions or descriptions that are normally for a long time. They are timeless facts, repeated actions or habits, and descriptions that answer the question, what is someone or something normally like? What are the important, long-lasting things that describe this person or thing? Well, it is helpful to remember that the simple tenses, past, present, and future, are for things that stay the same for a long time, for general time. They are not for a limited time like a sand clock. They are for things that don't change much, the things that normally happen any time or anywhere. There are three kinds of actions or descriptions that are normally for a long time. They are timeless facts, repeated actions or habits, and descriptions that answer the question, what is someone or something normally like? What are the important, long-lasting things that describe this person or thing? So, how do we use these three kinds of actions in the past, present, and future? Let's start with the present because it is the most confusing thing, and I like to start with the difficult things first. But I will first quickly say that the simple past and simple future are usually simple. For anything that happened in the past and is finished, or anything that was true in the past and is not true now, we use the simple past. For anything that has not started yet and will only happen or be true in the future, we use the simple future. But the simple present tense is different. It is for things that are true now, yes, but these things also cover more than the present. They usually started in the past and will probably continue into the future. Let's look at three possible kinds of actions or descriptions in the present tense: timeless facts, repeated actions or habits, and descriptions that answer the question, what is someone or something normally like? What are the important, long-lasting things that describe this person or thing? Timeless facts are for things that always stay the same. They were true in the past, are true now in the present, and will be true in the future. It doesn't change. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It has always been this way. Now, we can also use the simple present to describe someone or something. When we do this, we describe the things that are normally true about this person, the things that don't change much. They are part of who that person is, their personality, and their appearance. For example, these boys always have a lot of energy, so their mother and father are usually tired. Also use the simple tense for things that happen again and again, or that we do again and again. Our habits. We use it to describe normal life for a person or people, or normal life and actions in our world. We could use it to describe typical actions. For example, this young man drinks coffee every morning. Right now, it might be in the afternoon, so he's not drinking coffee at this moment right now, but drinking coffee is a normal habit for him. We could also use it to describe things that are possible actions or typical actions. For example, birds fly. This describes what birds do. For repeated actions, things that happen again and again, we sometimes talk about how often it happens. For example, this woman smokes. We can talk about how often she smokes using adverbs of frequency, like seldom, sometimes, or usually. Or how often, 1 cigarette a day, or a pack a day, or 3 packs a day. Sometimes we use words that talk about how often she smokes. These are called adverbs of frequency. She usually smokes 1 pack a day. She sometimes smokes 1 pack a day, or she seldom smokes 1 pack a day. But we do know that smoking is a normal part of her life, past, present, and future. Now, repeated actions have something which can be confusing about them. When we talk about repeated actions, we are not talking about a specific action or a real action that's happening now. We are talking about a possible action, and the action may not be happening right now. It is for actions that can happen anytime or anywhere. It doesn't happen at a specific time. It is time in general. The simple past is quite simple. It's for everything that happened before now, up until now. So, it is for things that were true or things that happened in the past, but which are not true now. They are finished. For example, there were dinosaurs in the past. Dinosaurs walked on the earth. This is not true for now. Dinosaurs are not alive now, except maybe in the movies. Now, remember how I said that the simple tenses cover a long period of time, so we don't usually mention a specific time. Well, this is where it sometimes gets confusing, because sometimes we do mention time, especially for the simple past. For example, we could say that the Eiffel Tower was built in 1887, but we are not talking about the action of building it here. We are simply giving a fact, a historic fact, just like you would give a scientific fact. It was actually finished on January 28, 1887, but on that day, you would not see any workers that are working on that day. You are simply describing something that happened in the past and was finished at that time. The work is finished now. It is not happening now. The simple past is used for historic facts, but we could also use it for facts that are true about us. Now, I'm not saying that we are old, like historic, but we could say, for example, I graduated from high school in 2015. So, the action happened in the past, but the fact will always be true. When you graduate, no one can take away your graduation certificate. It will always be true as a fact that you finished high school. We could also talk about the facts of the future in this way. We could say, I will graduate next year. So this is not happening now. We are still studying now, but it will be a fact about the future. The same is true for the future. The simple future is for things that are not true or don't happen now, but will be true or happen in the future. For example, in the future, we might travel to Saturn and maybe we will take a vacation there. Well, that's it. I hope that you have a clearer understanding of the simple verb tenses in English. It is true, however, that a good way to understand something is to compare it to something else that is different, like we did at the beginning when we compared the simple tenses with the continuous tenses. So I suggest that you also compare these tenses in another presentation that I have prepared, so look for that. And I hope that you have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Okay, here's a bonus, something extra. We're going to compare the simple and continuous tenses because this sometimes helps us to understand some things better when we compare them. For example, we understand black and white because there is color. Comparing the simple tense and continuous tenses helps us to understand them. For example, we understand black and white because there is color. Comparing the simple tense and continuous tenses helps us to understand them. So let's start with an explanation of the simple tense and continuous tense. With the simple tense, time is not the focus, whereas with the continuous tense, time is important and we usually tell when something happens. With the simple tense, actions are, in general, at any time. For example, we can find birds flying almost any time or anywhere. With the continuous tense, specific actions happen at a specific time. For example, I am eating at 6 o'clock. With the simple tense, we're really talking about expanded time, time with no beginning or ending. With the continuous tense, it's more like a sand clock. It's a limited time. It's for this time only, the time that we're talking about. Another confusing thing about the simple tense is in the area of facts. So we're going to compare facts in the past, present, and future. We use the simple tense for facts. Facts are timeless. That means they are true for all periods of time, past, present, and future. The simple present tense is for facts. These are things that were true in the past, are true now, and will be true in the future. But the simple past tense is used for historic facts. This is action that happened in the past, but it is the fact that doesn't change and remains true forever. You can't change history. The fact stays the same. The simple future tense is for predictions for an action that will happen in the future. We are guessing or planning for something that will be true in the future, but it is not true, at least not yet, not now. Now here's a comparison with some examples of the simple past and simple present. Simple past is for historic facts. They happen in the past, but it is still true today. For example, the light bulb was invented by Edison. We use it for facts that were true in the past only and are not true now. He used to smoke, but he quit, so it's no longer true. We use it also for action that was repeated in the past, but is no longer repeated. For example, I used to drink coffee every day, but now I rarely drink coffee. The simple present, on the other hand, is used for timeless facts. These things were true in the past, the present, and will be true also in the future. For example, the earth is blue, or she is friendly. This is the kind of person she is. She is normally friendly. Here are some more examples of facts. Present facts. People in Mexico speak Spanish. Wood burns easily. And turtles move slowly. Examples of facts in the past. I used to smoke every day, but now I don't. A historic fact, the Eiffel Tower in Paris was completed in 1889. Future facts. People will probably travel to Mars in the next decade. And I will graduate in 2 years from now. And here is an explanation with some examples of the simple present and how it is used to describe normal life or actions or the way that we are being. Simple present is used for actions or descriptions that are generally true. They may not be happening right now, but it is possible anytime or anywhere. For example, birds fly. I drink coffee and not tea. She normally talks a lot. She is a talkative person. Here are some examples of the simple past and simple future for normal action, life, or being. This is generally true for the past and future only, and it is not true in the present. For example, simple past, normal actions, or being actually. I was a student in 2011 or 2001. I am not a student now. Example for the future. I will be a student next year. I am not a student now. So now I'd like to look at some longer examples of how to use the simple tenses. In the next slide, the first slide, there will be a paragraph, a description using the simple tense. And in the second slide, you will see a narrative or story using the simple tense. This is a description of normal life in Vancouver, a city on the west coast of Canada. It tells what the city is like at any time. If you went to visit there, you would probably see some of these things, and it's really timeless. It's true at almost any time. Go ahead and read it and see how the simple tense is used for description. In this story, you will see, first of all, a description of Sue's normal life, what she does every day, what her life is like, what kind of a person she is. And it's really over a long period of time. Then it switches to the continuous tense, and it is talking only about a limited period of time, and that is only talking about this week. You might be wondering, well, how do I write the simple tense? And this could be for the simple present, the simple past, and the simple future. So look at the next slide. It gives a very brief description of how to write it. You should study it further, and I can include some websites in a later slide that you could check out that give longer explanations of this.